Good morning, Mets fans, and happy Friday. It is I, Mr. Met, and it is another edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am coming back today. I was hoping there'd be something more juicy to talk about, but not a whole lot has happened this week, at least as far as the Mets go. I'm going to talk about a couple of free agent signings that are sort of Mets related. One of them is official. The other one was rumored as of last night. I'm going to talk about both of them and how they might impact the rest of the offseason for the Mets going forward. It is a ridiculously warm day, considering that it's like 4 days before Christmas. But I don't even need a jacket today, to be honest. And the reason I'm wearing one is because it's raining. Again, I wanted to talk a little bit about the two free agent moves that might tie to the Mets. And then there's an additional rumor that I want to chat about, came out last night. So first and foremost, earlier this week, Michael Brantley signed with the Houston Astros on a 2-year contract. Good deal for the Stros, who also seem to be in now on the Real Muto sweepstakes, which are still ongoing. It's like the saga that won't end. Now Jeter's trying to fleece the Astros. Good luck, Derek. That's all I'll say to you. So Brantley, I don't know that Brantley was ever really a fit for the Mets, but he is an outfielder, and he didn't get a ridiculously high contract, certainly not in years. And I'm curious how that will impact what A.J. Pollock is looking for, because if you look at their career trajectories, very comparable, although Pollock is a center fielder and Brantley is not, comparable in terms of offensive production. So it'll be interesting to see how Brantley's contract will impact the sort of deal that Pollock gets, and whether or not that lowers his asking price to the point where the Mets might consider bringing in a guy who's injured as often as Juan Lagares is. I'm not in favor of bringing in Pollock. I like the idea of having a all-star capable center fielder, but not at the cost of a 5 or 6 year contract for a guy that spends half of his seasons on the disabled list, at least on average. So I'm not interested in that. I'd just as soon go into the start of the season with Lagares as the everyday center fielder. The Mets did sign Rajai Davis the other day to a minor league contract with an invite to spring training. So we'll see if Davis ends up being a fourth outfielder. I can't think of the guy's name, but they picked up a Rule 5 guy, and his name is escaping me right now, but he might also factor into that fourth outfielder slot heading into spring training. So the Brantley news, how it impacts Pollock, we'll see going forward. Yesterday, the Colorado Rockies signed our own Daniel Murphy to a 2-year contract. I think it was 2 years. Good fit for Murph. He'll do extremely well in that ballpark. I don't know how it will impact his home run numbers, but Murph's never been a launch angle swing guy. He's always been a more level swing who can hit home runs, and that's the kind of player that I love. I think Murph should be sort of like the prototype for every team that's looking to build an offensive juggernaut. A guy that can hit home runs but doesn't solely rely on the home run is so important in 2019. And Murph, like I said, he's going to do really well in Colorado. I sort of had this morbid fascination of bringing Murph back to the Mets, although you could argue that he doesn't fit anywhere, and you'd be right. I love Murph, and I would have loved to see him back with the Mets, but that is not meant to be. I think after this contract with Colorado, Murph will end up in the American League, where his career will extend as a designated hitter in the mold of an Edgar Martinez. That's where Murph's future is, in my opinion, and I wish him luck in his pursuit of a continued career. Finally, last night, there were rumors that the Cardinals were nearing a deal for left-handed reliever Andrew Miller, who remains high on the Mets' wish list of acquisitions. Again, I don't know that there was a real fit as far as the payroll was concerned, but we're never really going to know how that will shake out. The concepts of the reinvestments of the insurance dollars from Wright, perhaps from Cespedes, might free up some additional funds, or might have freed up some additional funds, but that remains to be seen. So it looks like Miller's going to be off the table, and the Mets will now be in the market for a lesser left-handed reliever, which, again, I don't know that it's the worst thing. You know, Miller came off one of his worst seasons in 2018. Very inconsistent, very injury-plagued, and he's got a lot of mileage on that arm. And I'm sort of glad that the Mets aren't going to be stuck signing a guy like that to a 3-year deal, which I assume is what he'll end up getting out of St. Louis. So what does that mean for the Mets as far as their pursuit of a left-handed reliever? I think they're going to be in that Tony Sipp area, and it wouldn't surprise me if Tony Sipp is the guy they bring in. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that unfolds. As far as the rest of this year is concerned, for yours truly and for this show, I don't know that I'll be back until after Christmas, to say the very least. I don't know when it'll be. I'm not working between the week of Christmas and New Year's, so I have a few days off. So my availability to record videos will tie itself to being in the car, and I don't have any plans between the holidays other than redoing my daughter's bedroom. That's it. So if there is news that needs chatting about, I'll do my best to hop in the car and just like go get coffee or something and record a quick video. But in the absence of that, I may not be back again in 2018. So boy, this is like a cliffhanger ending in the middle of December. But again, like I said, if there's something that's worth talking about, I'll try to get a video recorded. But if not, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, or a Happy Hanukkah, or a Happy Kwanzaa, or whatever it is that you celebrate this time of the year. I wish you all a safe and Happy New Year. Not saying I won't record before it, but just in case, I'm getting it out there, saying Happy New Year to everybody. I will be back at some point in the next, 2 weeks to pick up things where we left off. But until then, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can always follow me and interact with me on Twitter at Mr._Met, MISTER_MET. And as always, let's go Mets.